God made Adam and Eve and put them in the Garden of Eden. And he said, of all the trees of the garden, you can freely eat except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that you eat thereof, you will surely die. And so all these trees were accessible to Adam. He could go to the tree and get the food and use the tree as a resource. It was his. It was his to take. But just one tree was off limits, right? And we know the story that Adam and Eve fell into sin and into a fallen state that now affects all mankind. And they took of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And they fell into a fallen state. They fell into death. The devil comes along. This is how the story goes. And he says to Eve, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of all the trees of the garden? And so here we find one of the first lies that the devil says. He's trying to distort the commandment of God. Because God never said that all the trees were off limits. He just said one tree was off limits. But the devil was like, well, did God say you can't eat of any of the trees? You can't have any of them? None of them? And you see, that lie is still pronounced today. The devil, he is the evil one. And he's antagonistic of what is good and what is beautiful and true in the world. And while God says you can achieve what you want to achieve, you do have the potential to do what you want to do, the devil comes along and says you can't do it. The devil comes and says it's not possible. While God says that tree, it's there for you. You can have it. You can put your hands around the fruit of it. It's yours. The devil says to you, you can't have it. You can't go there. No trespassing. Not available for you. Not for you. You can't put your hands on it. And a lot of people live that way. And you know, there's a lot of wicked people in the world that run countries, whether it be socialistic or communistic. And they come into a society and they say there are all these rules and all these laws and litigations and all these things that you have to do in order to have a license or to have your own business. It's off limits for you. You can't do it. And someone will say to me, well, I appreciate your positive messages and explaining how potential is unlimited. And hopefully you're internalizing that and you're seeing the beauty of that. But the person will say, well, what about if I live in a communist country and they tell me that I can only have one child and I have the faith to have more children than that. I want to have more children in my family. Can this faith principle work for me? Can the faith principle impact my life if I live in confines of a communist regime? And my answer to you is that with God, all things are possible. And just because you say, well, I believe this thing to be true, I want this thing to be true, and I can't make it happen for me. And if you live in a free country like America, be glad that you don't live under communism, right? Be glad that you live free. And if there's anything that you see in society that is antagonistic to freedom, address that. Address that with others and address that in the society and among the government, among the people that are supposed to be representing you. And pursue freedom. And you have to embrace the faith principle. You have to embrace the unlimited potential. And when you see that, that is something that will enable you to live a righteous life. If you have come to know Christ and you are a Christian, if you're a Christian, you can't live a righteous life if you live in a life of fear. If you live in a life of fear and scarcity, you're not going to make good choices. You're not going to be a benevolent person. You're not going to be outgoing and ambitious to make a difference, whether it be economically, socially, spiritually. God made us with hands and feet. He didn't make us out of stone. He didn't make us to just be a paperweight. He made us to go and to do, be the verb, take action. And God will bless your noble pursuits. Be a person of action today. And stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what's right. Here's the framework, though, that you have to keep in mind for all of this. The law of God, the righteousness of God. You know, there might be a person that says, well, I want to have abortion clinics everywhere. I want to have, murdered children everywhere. Because let's just be frank, let's be real for a second. That's what that is. It's murdered children. That's not a pursuit that God desires. He doesn't want you to murder people. He doesn't want you to kill a baby in the womb. So when we're talking about potential and opportunity and, unlimitedness, the faith principle, we want to use this power to do good. We want to use the potential to do good and not evil. Do good and you'll be blessed. Don't think that if you do evil and you're receiving blessing and you're prospering right now, that you'll be blessed forever, because there's going to be a trap for you. There's rules and laws to the world. Okay? You can't expect to drive your vehicle off a cliff and be unscathed. You have to drive on the road. And if you follow the rules of the road and you drive respectfully and you drive towards your destination, then you'll get there. And so keep that in mind as you are going out into the world and you're practicing this mindset and this